Building on time? I've been wanting to try to build something for speed for a long time. Let's learn how to build a bus.
Round 1.
I start my bus with the base because a vehicle always needs a long, flat platform before the body goes on top. I use dark oak slabs for that part. Slabs are good here because they keep the bus lower to the ground, and real buses do not sit very high above the road. Dark oak also gives a strong dark line under the body, which helps the wheels stand out better. For the wheels, I use stone blocks. Stone is not perfect like rubber, but it does look heavy and solid, and that matters because wheels carry all the weight. Above this base, I build the bus body from dirt blocks. Dirt is a silly material for a vehicle, but it gives the bus a rough old look, almost like something made in a hurry on a farm. In the windows, I place black stained glass panes because panes are thin and look much more like real bus windows than full blocks. On the wheels, I add oak trapdoors to give them more shape and make them feel less flat. At the entrance, I place a door so the side has a clear way in, and at the front, I set lamps as headlights. Headlights are important because they tell people which side is the front, and they also make the bus look ready to drive at night. Phew! I barely made it on time. Great! My bus is ready.
What? Hello?
Hey, Banana Kid, look. I built it in just 1 minute. Do you like?
Yay!
Really? I am very glad that you like my makeshift construction. Maybe then you can try to build a bus yourself in just 10 minutes?
Ta-da!
They ran to the place. This is where your building will be. Are you ready?
Yay!
Then go ahead.
Round 2.
I can see Banana Kid starting his bus from the bottom, and that is the correct way to handle a long vehicle. He builds the base from gold ore slabs, which is already one of the funniest and brightest choices possible. Gold ore has a rocky texture with shiny gold bits inside, so it looks a little more natural than pure gold blocks, but still keeps that rich yellow color. Slabs are very useful for a bus base because they lower the vehicle closer to the ground, and that instantly makes the proportions look better. A bus should feel stretched along the road, not lifted high like a monster truck. Then he places 6 wheels from black concrete. 6 wheels tell me this is going to be a longer and heavier bus than a normal one. More wheels spread the weight over more points, which is a simple, real-world idea. Long vehicles need better support, so the middle does not feel too weak. The dark wheels also create strong contrast under the shiny yellow base, and that contrast makes the whole shape much easier to read from the side. Now, Banana Kid moves to the front and starts building the nose of the bus from gold blocks. Gold blocks are very smooth and bright, so they make the front look cleaner and more polished than the rougher gold ore slabs below. Using 2 related yellow materials is actually smart because one can act like the frame and the other can act like the finished body panels. He places black stained glass at the front as the windshield. Black glass is a strong choice for a windshield because it looks dark and reflective, like tinted vehicle glass. That gives the bus a more modern and expensive feeling. Then he adds lamps as headlights. Headlights are one of the most important details on a vehicle build because they make the front instantly recognizable and suggest safety for driving at night. Under the glass, he places black stairs as a grille. That is a neat design trick. Stairs create a thin stepped shape instead of a full block wall, so the grille looks lighter and more technical. It is a small detail, but those little details make the front feel designed instead of plain. Banana Kid has only 7 minutes left. He needs to hurry up. Banana Kid keeps extending the bus body backward with more gold blocks, and now the vehicle starts reading as one long machine instead of just a front shell. I can see him using yellow concrete too, and I think that helps a lot. Gold blocks alone can look too shiny and too uniform if they cover every surface. Yellow concrete has a flatter, softer finish, so mixing it with gold gives the bus more texture without changing the main color theme. On top, he builds the roof mostly from gold slabs. Slabs are the right choice for a roof because a bus roof should be thin compared to the walls. If the roof is too thick, the whole vehicle looks heavy and clumsy. Thin top edges make vehicles feel more engineered. He also leaves space where the windows and side panels will go, and that is good planning. It is much easier to shape openings while the wall is still a frame than after everything is filled in. The long gold roof and long yellow body already make this look less like a car and more like a proper bus for carrying many passengers. Half the time, is he sure he'll make it? After that, Banana Kid starts filling the empty spaces in the sidewalls with gray concrete and black glass. Gray concrete is a very useful helper material here because it breaks up the large yellow walls. Big one-color surfaces can get boring fast on long vehicles, so adding gray gives the side more structure. It can read like metal framing, service panels, or stronger lower wall sections. The black stained glass makes the window line clear and elegant. A bus needs a strong horizontal line of windows because that line tells the viewer this is a passenger vehicle and not a truck. Horizontal windows also make the whole build look longer, and that is good for a bus because length is part of its identity. I like that Banana Kid does not switch to a random new color for the windows. The black keeps things simple and modern. It also connects nicely with the black wheels below. That is a useful design rule. Repeating one dark color in different parts of the build helps tie the whole vehicle together and keeps the eye moving from front to back. Now, he does something interesting and places furnaces into the walls. At first that sounds strange for a bus, but furnaces have a great front texture for machine builds. Their dark, square opening and metal-looking frame make them useful as vents, engine covers, maintenance panels, or even decorative side grills. On a large vehicle, details like this are important because the sidewall needs more than just windows and flat color. A few technical-looking blocks make the bus feel more believable as a machine with systems inside. He keeps the furnaces limited, which is smart. If he used too many, the wall would look messy and overcrowded. A few mechanical details are stronger than too many. The placement also helps break the long side into sections, almost like the bus has compartments for equipment. That works especially well on a large, heavy vehicle, where different parts might hold fuel, tools, or engine parts. Banana Kid is not talking, but I can see the logic. He is trying to make the bus look rich and fancy on the outside, while still showing that it is a working machine. Banana Kid goes back down to the wheels and adds stone buttons on them. This is a really simple but effective trick. A big flat black wheel can look unfinished, but one small button in the center makes it feel like a hub or axle cap. "3 minutes to go! Banana Kid, hurry up!" Tiny center details are great for circles because they give the eye a point to focus on. At the rear of the bus, he places pistons and dispensers. Those blocks have very mechanical textures, so they are perfect for the back of a vehicle. They can suggest exhaust units, engine parts, storage systems, or a complicated rear machine section. The back of a bus is often where some of the heaviest equipment sits, especially on bigger vehicles, so adding technical blocks there makes sense. I also like that he does not leave the rear totally flat. Vehicle backs need details too, because people often see the back while the vehicle drives away. A shaped and detailed rear makes the bus look complete from every angle. The pistons and dispensers also contrast nicely with the cleaner gold body panels around them. Finally, Banana Kid goes inside the front of the bus and places repeaters to create a control panel. That is one of my favorite Minecraft tricks for vehicle interiors. Repeaters are small, detailed, and technical looking, so they work very well as switches, gauges, or dashboard controls. Their redstone lines and little torches make them feel like glowing instruments. By putting them at the front, he clearly marks the driver's area. That matters a lot in any vehicle build. There are only a few minutes left. Banana seems to be finishing up already.
Ta-da! Yay!
Where did everyone run off to? Hey guys, what's all that noise?
Banana Kid and I are building a bus on time, JJ. Who did it better?
Oh, both of your buildings look great, but I think it's up to the audience to decide who did the best.
Yes, JJ, you're right. Maybe then you have comments on the construction of Banana Kid?
Yes, there are a couple of comments. Although the bus looks big from the outside, there is very little space inside. It is not practical to carry such a small number of people.
I totally agree with you, JJ. Maybe then you can build your bus in 15 minutes?
Then let's run to the place.
JJ, good luck to you. We'll wait in the house.
What?
Thanks, guys. Then I'm starting. Round 3. I begin my bus with the foundation. Because the proportions of a long vehicle depend on the base more than anything else. I use quartz slabs to build a long, narrow platform. Quartz slabs are ideal for this because they create a clean, low-profile chassis. A bus should sit fairly low to the ground so passengers can enter easily and the center of gravity stays lower. That is one basic rule of vehicle stability. A tall, narrow bus with a high floor would feel unsafe and top-heavy, especially if it has more than one level. Right away, I also place the wheels using black concrete in full blocks, stairs, and slabs. Combining these three shapes gives the wheels more depth and makes them look more circular than simple cubes. Full blocks provide strength, stairs round the edges, and slabs help thin the profile where needed. This is a useful trick in Minecraft vehicle building. Real wheels are curved, so using several shapes of the same material helps suggest that curve. With the long quartz base and the dark, detailed wheels, the bus already has a clean mechanical foundation. Next, I build the front of the bus using the same quartz shapes together with red concrete, which becomes the main body color. Red is a very strong choice for a bus because it is bright, easy to notice, and often used on public transport to stand out in traffic. It also creates a very memorable silhouette, especially on a large multi-level vehicle. Quartz helps frame the red and keeps the front from becoming too heavy. For the windshield, I use light gray stained glass. I choose light gray instead of black because I want the front to feel more open and reflective, almost like a large modern windshield catching the sky. Light gray glass also blends nicely with quartz and still contrasts enough with the red body. At the front of a vehicle, the shape matters a lot because it is the face of the whole build. I keep the windshield broad and readable, so the bus immediately looks like passenger transport rather than an armored truck or a plain red box on wheels. After the nose is established, I move to the lower side walls. I build these from red concrete and black concrete, and over the wheel arches, I place quartz stairs. The red concrete remains the main surface, while black concrete helps define structural lines and gives the lower edge more visual weight. This is very useful on a bus because the lower body often collects more dirt, mechanical parts, and shadows than the upper body. Adding some black around the lower sections makes the build feel grounded. The quartz stairs over the wheels are important because wheel arches should curve around the tires rather than cutting straight across them. Stairs let me soften that shape and create the impression of a proper fender. I still have a lot of time left. I definitely have to do everything in time. At the very front, I add little horn-like projections from cobblestone walls. These act like mirrors, protective bars, or front hardware. Thin blocks, like walls, are excellent for those jobs because they create details without becoming bulky. Small protrusions on the front also make the bus look more realistic and less like a toy. I continue by shaping the window line on the lower deck. First, I mark the openings, then I fill them with light gray and gray-stained glass. Using 2 shades of glass instead of only 1 is a subtle but effective choice. The slightly different tones create visual variation, and that makes the windows look more reflective, almost as if some parts are catching more light than others. It is a simple trick, but on a long row of windows, it adds a lot of life. The side windows are one of the most important features of a bus because they tell the viewer this is a vehicle made for carrying people, not cargo. I keep the windows evenly spaced because good spacing creates rhythm. Repeated window rhythm is one of the things that makes buses and trains look organized. If the windows were random in size or position, the bus would feel badly designed. A clear, repeated pattern also helps the large red body feel lighter because glass breaks the wall into smaller, more comfortable sections. With the lower windows in place, I finish the rest of the lower side walls using more red concrete. I've got half the time left. I'm kind of in time. On the front above the windshield, I add coal stairs and coal slabs. This darker strip gives the bus a stronger top edge around the driver's area and helps define the front roof line. Dark accents above a windshield often make a vehicle look more modern because they frame the glass and create a visor effect. That visor-like top also gives the front more depth. Without it, the windshield might look pasted onto a flat wall. As I close the lower deck, I pay attention to proportion. The first level must be tall enough for the interior to feel usable, but not so tall that the upper decks look squashed later. Because this bus will have multiple levels, every floor height matters. If the lower level is oversized, the whole build becomes too tall. If it is too short, the inside becomes cramped. This stage is all about getting that balance right before I stack the next deck above it. Now I begin the outline of the second floor. I set the front shape first and place light gray stained glass at the front again so the upper level visually matches the lower deck. Repeating materials between levels is very important on a multi-level bus because it keeps the vehicle looking like one machine instead of a pile of separate rooms. The second deck sits directly above the first, so the structure needs to feel aligned and supported. I keep the walls mostly above the lower wall lines, because weight and architecture reads better when upper sections sit over strong lower sections rather than hanging too far out. The front glass on this level also makes the bus look more panoramic, almost like a sightseeing vehicle. Large upper windows are a good design choice because people on top should have a clear view. When a build has many floors, the upper levels should feel worth climbing to. Good visibility is one of the easiest ways to make those levels feel special and useful. I continue the second floor using the same wall logic as the first, with red concrete as the main body, dark accents for contrast, and windows stretching along the side. Under each window, I place quartz slabs. These slabs do two useful jobs. First, they create a clean horizontal trim line that makes the bus look more polished. Second, they visually support the windows, almost like a thin ledge or frame under each one. Long vehicles benefit from horizontal lines because horizontal lines make them look longer and smoother. This is a common design idea in transport. Repeated trim lines, window bands, and roof bands guide the eye from front to back and make the whole vehicle feel streamlined. I keep the second deck slightly lighter and cleaner than the heavy lower section so the stacked levels do not become too dark. The result is a bus that still looks stable, but also elegant. The repeated quartz details help unify the levels and stop the red body from feeling too plain. Above that, I start building the third floor. I make it a little lower than the second floor, which is a very deliberate decision. If every upper deck were the same height, the bus could become too tall and too blocky. By reducing the height slightly on the top level, I keep the overall silhouette more controlled. This also helps the top deck feel lighter, which is good visual physics. In many tall structures, the uppermost levels work best when they look a bit less massive than the lower ones. I style the third deck in almost the same way as the second, so the vehicle still feels consistent. Then I close the roof with red concrete slabs. Slabs are perfect for the roof because they create a thin top line and stop the build from becoming too chunky. A bus roof should read as a shell, not another full story of wall thickness. With the third deck and roof complete, the bus now has a dramatic tall red shape that still feels balanced rather than awkward. Next, I finish the rear side of the bus using light gray stained glass together with red and black concrete. The rear is very important on a long vehicle because people often see it while the bus is driving away or when it is parked. A plain rear wall would make the whole build feel unfinished. I use glass there to continue the window language and let the top levels feel connected all the way around. The red remains the dominant body color, while black helps mark the lower or mechanical-looking sections. This color placement creates a clear hierarchy. Bright red says public bodywork, glass says passenger space, and black says structure or machine parts. I also make sure the rear surface lines up correctly with the floors inside. That matters, because windows and wall breaks should reflect actual rooms and deck heights, not random patterns on the outside. When exterior details match the interior levels, the vehicle feels much more believable as something people could really use rather than just admire from the outside. Inside the bus, I begin building the floors from red concrete. Using the same red inside helps the interior feel connected to the exterior, and it also keeps the style bold and playful. I build the deck levels so they line up with the windows and doors already placed outside. This alignment is very important in transport design. If a window looks into the side of a floor or a door opens into nowhere, the illusion breaks immediately. Interior planning should always follow the logic of the outside shell. As I create each deck, I think about headroom and circulation. A bus interior needs enough vertical space for passengers to move, but the floors also must fit inside a very limited outer shape. That is why careful stacking matters so much on a 3-level build. The floors also act like structural dividers, making the inside feel more solid. Without them, the bus would be one huge hollow box. With them, it becomes a layered passenger machine with clear, usable levels and destinations. Now, I add the exterior finishing touches. At the front, I place lamps as headlights, because headlights are one of the key details that make any vehicle come alive. They show direction, suggest nighttime use, and make the face of the bus feel complete. I also add several red concrete fences as small, trim pieces. Thin fence details are useful because they can act like handrails, signal bars, or decorative supports without covering large areas. At the entrance, I place doors so the bus has a clear boarding point. On the first floor inside, I finish the remaining red floor and create a small raised step with stairs. At the front of the lower deck, I build the driver's area using different technical blocks and chairs. The controls need to sit right behind the windshield so the operator would have a clear view of the road. That is simple vehicle logic, but it matters a lot for believability. Behind the driver's area, I place chairs for passengers in organized rows. Seating rows are one of the strongest signs that the build is truly a bus. People expect buses to have repeated seat patterns with a passage for walking between them. So I keep that arrangement clear. Then I build a staircase from red concrete leading to the second floor. Vertical movement is essential here because this bus has multiple levels. On the second floor, I place more chairs in 2 rows again. Then I build another staircase to the 3rd floor. On the top floor, I add the remaining chairs. Repeating the seating pattern across levels keeps the layout understandable and realistic. By the end, the bus has a strong chassis, a memorable red body, useful windows, a clear driver's space, and full passenger decks from bottom to top. Great! My bus is ready! It's time for me to show it to the guys.
Wow, JJ! I've only seen such big buses in pictures, but there really are such big ones. It's probably very difficult to manage them.
Thank you guys! I am very glad that you liked my building. Friends, be sure to write in the comments whose building you liked the most. Well, I think it's time for us to finish.
Yes, JJ, you're right!
Subscribe and like. Bye-bye.